Aloha and welcome to our Research and Writing RaW series workshops. This is a 4-episode series and we are focusing on episode number 1, which is identifying your topic. My name is Natalie and along with me we have Robin, Becca, and Karina. So let's get started. In this episode, we're going to be focusing on choosing a topic, and afterwards, we're going to transition over to finding background information, which includes reviewing results. And lastly, we're going to focus on refining your topic. Now, I did want to note that if you are completing this workshop for class credit, you're going to want to watch our workshop and then complete our corresponding RaW Episode 1, Identifying a Topic quiz. So be sure to watch the video and complete the quiz. And we'll transition over to Robin.
Okay, so we wanted to start with some pro tips. And these are some tips that apply that we recommend that you do throughout this workshop, throughout the entire workshop series. And these are also just good tips for any time that you're working on a research project. So the first is to keep notes. Keeping a log as you brainstorm any ideas you have. And the reason for that is as you're progressing on your research, maybe you hit a wall. Maybe you can't find enough sources. Maybe you can't find the type of sources that you were hoping to find. And so if you have all your notes and all your brainstorms and all your ideas, it's much easier to go back and look at how you can, what's another path you can take for your research project. The second tip is to talk with others. So talking with others as you're going through research has a lot of benefits. And one is just, for yourself. A lot of times talking helps us to process our ideas, helps us to brainstorm other possibilities, helps us to explore different options. And then getting feedback from others is also really helpful, right? Maybe we don't realize that one of our ideas is really interesting, or maybe we don't realize, maybe having others' feedback can help us to explore different options or think of different possibilities as well. And so in the live versions of these workshops, we are providing opportunities for the workshop attendees to talk with one another. But if you're watching the recorded version, we definitely recommend that you find opportunities to talk with others about the work that you're doing, whether it's your classmates or your friends or family members or whoever you want to talk to that can provide you helpful feedback. So let's jump to our next slide. So when you're choosing a topic, definitely the first thing you want to do is review your assignment guidelines. So whatever information your professor has given you about the requirements, I think this can be in two ideas, right? It could be requirements or it could be just like suggestions or ideas that kind of give you an idea of what direction the professor's wanting you folks to go in. So this might be in the form of an assignment sheet, or it might be kind of more spread out. It might be like, a section of the syllabus. It might be a Laulima page. It might be something that the professor said in lecture. So you might have to go and hunt and, review your notes and look for what is everything the professor has said about what they're looking for you to be doing in this project. And then as you're reviewing this material, you definitely want to be writing down any questions you have, so you can go to your instructor for clarification, like, whatever kind of questions that might come up for you. Besides reviewing the assignment-specific guidelines, you can also look at the class more broadly. So looking at your syllabus, looking at your textbook, or any other class materials can kind of give you an idea of, maybe some of your options for this project, right? So maybe this is your first sociology class and you're not sure what kind of things you're allowed to research for sociology. Looking through all your class materials can kind of give you an idea of some of the options. So when you're looking through your syllabus, your textbook, or whatever materials you have, you can, look at what do you find most interesting about the class, right? What topics are you looking forward to covering, or did you enjoy talking about and want to learn more about? So that's another good place to go to for choosing a topic. And then the third place you can look at is to look at your personal interests. So in college, we all have to take a lot of different classes, right? Whether it's a core or maybe it's something that's required for our major. But even if it's a requirement, right, there's ways to make that assignment work for you. So maybe, maybe if it's core class, it's not a subject you're super interested in, you really wish you could just be taking courses in your major. Well, is there a way that you can tie this project to your major, right? Can you research something that's related to your major? So maybe you're taking a history class, but you're an accounting major, right? Could you look at the history of accounting? You could also look at if you can tie it to a hobby. So again, history is a class that a lot of us are required to take. So maybe you really like baseball. You've played baseball your whole life. You just would like to play baseball and watch baseball all the time. So maybe you could research the history of baseball in Hawaii. Or maybe you can tie it to just something that has always fascinated you, whether it's tattoos, food, whatever. Or you might also think about something that you've just heard about recently, on TV, on the radio, online. Maybe you just heard something mentioned and you wanted to learn more about it. So research projects can be a great way to to kind of it's an opportunity for you, right? I want to learn more about this. Now, this is an opportunity for me to investigate something. As long as it's going to fit your instructor's requirements, it can be an opportunity to learn about something that's of interest to you as well.
Okay, so going into assignment guideline examples, sometimes you might get a writing assignment with a guided topic and very specific guidelines. So scenario 1 is an example of that. You can see here in the prompt, you are going to research and write about a cause that you support, and then you're expected to come up with a convincing stance, strong arguments, and credible evidence that supports your stance. There are specifics in regards to a word range, so you have 1,500 to 3,000 words. It has to be double-spaced. And in addition to that, it tells you how many sources you're required to have and more specifics into what kinds of resources you'll need. Because these assignments are much more structured, you won't necessarily have to spend too much time on finding a topic as your focus is just on a cause, such as women's suffrage or civil rights. You can still mesh your course and personal interests in finding a topic for a very guided and structured assignment like this, but you have to also ensure that you hit all of the requirements. You have to make sure the formatting is there, that at least one of your sources in this case is a news article, while the other is a reference text. Other writing assignments may be more open-ended, such as in this case with scenario number 2. For this assignment, you are just going to research any topic related to U.S. history, and the only guidelines given is that it has to be between 1,500 to 3,000 words. So this assignment gives you a great opportunity to combine both your class and your personal interests, and then you also have more autonomy on what kinds of sources you want to use, whether it be videos or articles or interviews. And in this case, you're going to try to be looking more at yourself and what you're really interested in the course. So for this example, this student is a business major. They love movies and Coca-Cola. So they're taking a class, assuming it's history, and they realize they don't know much about the Great Depression, so they're really looking forward to that portion of the class. And they're also interested in learning about the Vietnam War, since they've seen a lot of movies about it. So in this case, the student would probably take into account, like, if they love Coca-Cola, maybe they might do a topic about Coca-Cola's role in U.S. history or the history of Coca-Cola, or what the Great Depression meant, because that is also an event in history. So in this case, this student could write a paper not just about a cause, it could be a person, a campaign, a product, or even a major event. Okay, so now we want you to reflect on your previous writing experiences. So what was your most successful writing assignment? Think about how much restrictions or freedoms you had with that assignment, how you ended up choosing your topic, and what made that topic good. So pause here and complete question number 2 in the Google quiz.
Hi everyone, it's Karina here. So I'm going to be guiding you through the process of actually looking for background information. Very important at this point that you have some idea of what it is you want to explore or write about. So for this example, I have kind of open-ended questions like Becca had been talking about. I can write a 6 to 8 page paper about any aspect of immigration policy, whether it be present or focused more so on the past. This is for a political science class, and I'm not really sure what I want to write about, but I do know that I'm interested in the topic of immigration. So at this point, it's really important to just kind of figure out what immigration is. What are the big ideas or the important people. So what I want to do at this point is look for reference resources. If you're not familiar with what a reference resource is, those are things like dictionaries or encyclopedias or almanacs. They provide you with a general summary of facts, definitions, and statistics. And they're really useful when you are at the very beginning of a research assignment and want a really basic and broad overview of a topic. What I really like about using reference resources is that it points you in, new directions that you might not otherwise think of. So it's a way for you to find related subjects or pathways and really kind of refine your topic to make sure that it's something that you can base your entire research topic on. So common reference resources that we use, of course, Wikipedia may be your go-to. While that's okay, and it's a good starting point, what I do want to point out is that Wikipedia is not a scholarly resource, and we strongly encourage you to not cite it in your paper. Wikipedia can be a good launching pad and can point you in useful directions, but it's something that a lot of instructors will really frown at. So it's good to err on the side of caution and use library resources instead. So what I want to do is highlight 2 library resources that I think are very great resources when looking for reference resources. And these, are automatically scholarly resources and are things that can be cited in your paper. So let's take a look at those 2 resources. So let's say that we're on Google and we are looking for the library's website. So I can type in UHWO library. It should be the first link that pops up. And here we have the library's beautiful website. Now, we are looking for a specific database, Encyclopedia Britannica. And so what I want to do is click on the button right here to change the type of search I'm doing. So I'm looking specifically for databases. And I am going to type in either the first word or the entire name of the database that I'm looking for. In this scenario, I'm looking for Encyclopedia Britannica, so I'm typing in encyclopedia, and then I'm going to run the search. So here we have all results that start with that word, and that's exactly what I'm looking for, so we're in good shape. If you run into this screen, it's just asking for your UH username and password, so you can quickly enter that, and then the database should open. So again, I'm looking for information about immigration, so I'm going to type that in and do my search. Here we have the different results on the topic. So right away, I can see a related entry, but I'm interested in immigration, so let's take a look at this. You'll notice that it's a really short entry. So again, reference resources are good for providing you with a summary of a really large topic. There's links that point you in different directions that you might want to further pursue. In Encyclopedia Britannica, you'll notice this toolbar up here. Now, one difference in using the library's version of Encyclopedia Britannica is that it has this useful citation tool. So if I were to click on that, you could change the citation based on the requirements specified by your instructor. And then the citation is something that you could copy and paste into your paper. With any computer-generated citation, it is incredibly important that you double check it for accuracy. You can never trust that it is correct, and so I always encourage students to double check it. You definitely don't want your instructor cracking down on you for having improper citations. Another really good reason to use the library's version of Academic Britannica is because it provides you with access to entries that are not available on the public version. And so the public version is something that you can Google, but to access the library's version of Encyclopedia Britannica, you want to go to the library's website and then search for that database. So let's go back to the library's website. And I want to highlight for you that second resource that I said was good for finding reference resources. So we're going to go back to the default search, which is OneSearch. And again, I'm looking for information about immigration. This may be familiar to some of you, but this is the OneSearch search results screen. And I'll notice that I have a ton of results, over 600,000 results. What I want to do is refine the results that I'm looking at, which I can do using this right sidebar. So since I'm just starting my research and I want to look specifically at reference resources, I can hover over the material type category, click on Show More, and you'll notice that there are a ton of different materials on this topic, but I'm only looking for reference entries. So I'm going to highlight that. And then you want to look for, so you're going to hit that Apply Filter button. You'll notice that the amount of results that you see is reduced greatly to only a little over 9,000. And you can clearly see that each is a reference entry. So again, it's scouring encyclopedias and dictionaries to help you define what that topic is and give you a really broad overview. So if I were looking at this second entry, you're going to click on it. If you come up here, you're going to want to click on the link to the online resource. And here we have an overview and a definition of immigration from Keywords for American Cultural Studies. This is a scholarly resource like Encyclopedia Britannica, which you can cite in your paper. And so if you wanted to find the citation for this, you can hover over the quotations or click on it and then choose the style that you want. And that's something you can copy and paste and double check for accuracy. So again, those are just two of the resources that you can use to find reference entries. Wikipedia is something that, is natural for a lot of people. We'll start off there. But it's important to use scholarly resources. So once you kind of have an idea of what you're looking for, head over to the library's website, look at either Encyclopedia Britannica, or do a general search in OneSearch and limit specifically to reference entries. And that way you're looking at a really broad overview and kind of like a definition that you can use to base your paper on. Now, once you start searching for resources, you're going to find a lot of things. What I want to remind you of is that there is no perfect search. So research is a process. You may need to tweak your topic several times or even your search strategy. And that's okay. Don't feel beat down or don't feel like you're doing something wrong. It's perfectly normal to have to change your topic or your strategy. And if at any point you feel like it's a little too overwhelming, fear not, people are here to help. So if you do need help, you can always reach out to the library or the RaW Center, and we will guide you through whatever it is that you need help with. When you're searching for resources, you may run into a few different scenarios. The first being that you're finding too many results, which may indicate to you that your topic is a little too broad. So to narrow your topic, there are a couple of things that you may consider. You could focus on a specific time period, or a geographic region, or a specific culture, or gender. There's a wide variety of things that you can do or focus on to narrow your topic. The opposite may be true too. So you're not finding enough information, which may indicate to you that your topic is too narrow. Now, to kind of broaden it and to find more results, you could lengthen time periods or ranges or expand to geographic areas. So just kind of loosening the reins to try to find more information on the topic. So I know, based on my initial searches in OneSearch and in Encyclopedia Britannica, that my topic of immigration is too broad. And that's something I was expecting. I needed to sort of focus it more. And so to narrow my topic, there are a variety of ways that I can do that. And so I'm adding in sort of different keywords. So one route that I might take might look at the impacts of immigration on Hawaii's economy, or I might look at how immigrants have assimilated into American culture, or I might look at the rights of asylum seekers in the United States. So again, going back to what Robin talked about earlier, review the assignment guidelines, make sure that it is something that you're interested in writing about so that it's not that much of a chore. It's something that's actually enjoyable for you to do. So I'm going to ask you to pause the video here and answer questions 3, 4, and 5. Now, once you start having a better idea of your actual topic, you've narrowed it down, what you want to do is identify keywords. This is very important. You don't want to type your entire stream of thought or your entire research topic into the search bar. Instead, you want to use keywords. So if I were to hone in my topic and I really wanted to focus on the rights of asylum seekers in the United States, I know that my 3 main keywords or key concepts are rights, asylum seekers, and the United States. So those are things that I would type into the search bar. After you've identified your key concepts, what you want to do is think of different ways that people might describe those keywords. The reason that we do that is because people describe things differently. So I may write an article about the United States. Someone else may be writing an article about the USA. So by identifying synonyms, I'm sort of widening the net that I'm throwing to try to find as many relevant results as possible. So if I were to think of synonyms for asylum seekers, I might also, include in my search string refugees or immigrants or aliens. Again, just thinking of different ways to describe that concept. And what we will be doing in the next episode of this RaW series is better explaining why you want to identify keywords and synonyms and how to connect them together. So really kind of diving a little more so into the research process and how to find the resources that you need. What I want you to do now is pause the video here and answer questions 6 and 7 on the quiz.
Thanks, Karina. Now it's time to finish up your quiz. So for those of you joining us in completing your quiz, we'd like to welcome you to go ahead and finish up any of those remaining questions that you may have in your quiz, and don't forget to hit submit. You should be expecting within about 2 weeks to be receiving an email with your updated quiz scores. And that just about wraps up our episode number 1. Thank you so much, and we just wanted to wish you a mahalo on behalf of our entire RaW Skills team. We would also like to openly invite you to our next live episode airing on Wednesday, September 19th at 5 p.m. And this episode is episode number 2, which focuses on the research process. Thank you again, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.